Not so daft gamecraft. I was in the middle of having a come to Jesus moment for myself because I was thinking to myself, this spider spawner doesn't work. The XP is too slow, and frankly, I don't want to deal with it anymore.
See ya!
I've got a ton of diamond. There's no reason not to go to the nether, and let's just get her going. I would like to have enchanted gear, though. So wasn't it wonderful when I stumbled across this? This is a zombie spawner, and we are going to build a zombie XP device. We are almost dead above, I believe, our mining room. Before I do this, I'm going to build a house upstairs. We're going to have a little fun with that, and I might finish a little sweep of these mines, but I wanted to let you know where we're headed. We're going to be building a spawner. I'm going to do a quick run through of what I have for my spider spawner right now and what I've done and the lessons I've learned, because I'm going to take those lessons up here and we're going to do this one pretty close to the surface, by the way. I think if we dig straight up, we're not too far from the surface. So we will be building this spawner. Don't know when I'm going to start that. I'm going to start a house first, and that's the video you're going to watch right now. But I am happy to report I stumbled across, finally, a spawner that will lift and work. Not my favorite. I'm a fan of skeleton spawners, but what are you going to do? Beggars can't be choosers. All right, let's get going on a house build. I think we're going to keep this kind of fun. Okay, going straight down against all rules because I'm pretty certain I'm straight above my tunnels here. Not so much here. Should see something. I hope it's not lava. Oh, awesome. I think. Yes. Gold. Okay, so I've had a change of heart. I'm actually going to start the spawner build in this video. This is an overhead view of the house. Let's go down and take a look, and we'll get started on the hard work. There she comes into view, and you can see I did what I threatened to do. Yes, I built a house entirely out of redstone. And guess what? I didn't even use a fraction of my redstone. Its only job is to be here and finish this spot off. I have a larger plan in mind. I'm going to tower this entire pillar of dirt and encase it in nice looking stone. It's going to be cool. The only problem with a redstone house, you can't put down any redstone functions. So these doors are manual. I'm afraid we're slumming it. If I put down a pressure plate, it won't work because of the redstone being too close. But it's a nice little piece of property. All right, let's get busy building. Okay, first things first, we have to secure a rail line to the site. And the reason for this is we're going to be coming and going a lot, not just for XP, but of course during construction. So we're going to walk the hallway and create an ascending stairwell. Might fast forward through a lot of this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go. Oh, that's just about to leave. Forgot something. I wanted to show off my new look for 2021. New year, new self, right? I mean, after 2020, why not? Open shirt, black undershirt, still rocking the combat pants, which is, well, I'm a cargo pant dude. What can I say? Let's go. Okay, this is the shaft we came down. I think the easiest way to do this is to go back up to the top and just make our way that direction with a side staircase. It's going to be a lot easier than doing math. Looks like later I'll wish I had done the math, because the whole goal was to have the staircase come through the sidewall of the tunnel, not through the tunnel center itself. So I meant to come up to the top here and just go over one block, and I didn't. We met a friend along the way. He was angry for no reason. But it doesn't really matter because the tunnels are all carved out, so we might as well surrender them anyway. Okay, so I made a judgment call about how far I need to be back. I figured the spot I first picked was pretty good, so we just go ahead and stairway down. Lots of minerals along the way, which is nice. We'll always take them because we are burning through supplies right now, actually, with all this extra building that's getting done. How'd that happen? I'm supposed to be coming down on the side. I guess it doesn't matter. So here begins the installation of the redstone works to give us a switchable rail line here. And my favorite technique for this is to use a redstone torch. You can just barely make it out down there. And then I turn that torch on and off, because it's hard to get a relay attached to a block without going either to the left or the right. But I got bookcases on one side and I've got all my train switching stuff on the other. So instead of using a relay to turn that block on, I'll use it to turn this redstone block off. So we clear a path up to the redstone torch itself, we put down a relay, and now we can turn that torch on and off and alter the pattern of the rail lines above. And I cut a lot of stuff out of here because I tried about 10 different techniques before I settled on this one. Unfortunately, this is not the best place for the switch, but it's the laziest place for the switch. We've just got to tunnel back to the bookcases and suss out which one of these blocks has the switch on it. So quick double check and count of how many bookcases are there. And we will then count those over here. So by default, all switches are in the off position when you place them. So I've committed a faux pas of not flicking the switch when I set it. And it takes a little while to sort of determine exactly where to set all of the blocks to hide my work, which made this more difficult. I had to redo it a couple of times to keep the switch from getting blocked. And this is an example here, because nothing happens, right? So we get underground, we're dead. Torch is on instead of off. Redstone is off instead of on. So I know I've either got too many redstone pieces, but there, we're alive, so I pinched it. Now it's on, which turns off the other redstone. Time to label it. Boom. And here we are. Flicker again. And there we go. So that works. Excellent. Now we just have to lay the kicker tracks to get us knocked off, coming the other direction. Fix a landing pad so our heads don't get stuck, and start laying some track. Okay, for stair ascendancy with rails, something I normally don't have to do anything about because I used to use rails exclusively to produce a scissor track to get into and out of my mine. But with the development of soul sand, we don't have that problem anymore. Still, you can do the math any way you like, but I go 3 regular, 2 powered, all the way up. You can do fewer, you can do 4 and 1 or something, but you'll just herky jerk the whole way up. I'll show you here in a second. Okay, so let's do a test. I built a rail line here with a variety of different rail options. There's infinite rail options, but these make the most sense. So let's go ahead and take a closer look and see what the results will be. All right, a bunch of repeaters to give me time to get to the top. 1 to 1, so every other rail, as you might be tempted to do. 1 to 2, the economy. 1 to 3, really economical. 2 to 3, the way I do it, 2 powered, 3 regulars, and then all powered, okay? That's 31 power rails in this scenario. So of course, you can see that means we use 31. My method uses 15. El Cheapo gets you 8 for the same climb. And then the others, 11 and 16. Let's see here. Got a quick little trigger mechanism to tell us who gets to the top. Who, you might ask? Alright. Gotta have the proper ballast or they won't run correctly. So we're gonna rush up after we push this button and we're gonna see who finishes. Ooh, boy, that one's not great. Let's try this again. So, these guys, what do we need? You gotta have ballast or the trains will not, the carts will not run correctly. Alright, let's race to the top here. Well, looky here. It's not a tie for first. Every other is a hair's breadth slower, but very close to 100% powered rail, and it doesn't use that much more rail than my typical. Here comes slow poke. So let me think. Going every other would be annoying and lots of redstone. What if you did 2 and 2? Huh? Okay, hold everything. So obviously I expected 100% powered rail to be the fastest. And in the past I have done some tests, and so I was pretty settled on 2 powered, 3 plain. But now it looks like every other is a very close second. So close that in the first race I called it a tie. I think it was only when I slowed it down that you could really see it wasn't a tie. So then I start thinking, well, but nobody wants to put that much redstone down all the time. Even if you have a ton, it's extra work. So I thought, well, since we know how fast all rail is, let's take it out of the equation and let's do a 50-50, which is what's immediately behind me. We'll pit it against 2 to 3 and 50-50. We'll see which one of those 3 is fastest. Alright, let's go ahead and slow the action down again. Bingo, bango, bongo. Alright. Geez. every other is still fastest, but 2 and 2 remarkably similar to every other, which is good. Okay, so according to that information, we really ought to be going 2 and 2. It's going to burn through a lot more redstone, but I've got tons of redstone, and this is not a big, tall ramp. I'm going to have to do a video where I try pretty much every rail configuration up a much longer flight of stairs and try and figure this out. But right now, here we are. Okay, so this part's kind of temporary. We got to figure out exactly how we're going to build this room, and I like to let the room shape determine what I do with the rest of the train, and I call them trains. I know they're mine carts. I've got to get a button here temporarily. So under this current configuration, this goes out and back, which is nice. Over here we had the problem that it goes out, but in order to come back, it had to have the ability to turn this track so that you don't go out to the mine room, which is what all of this down here is. You can see that I powered this relay off of this detector. And then that runs underground and over to here where it hooks up with a separate switch. In fact, I don't know if I showed you guys this. So it goes down here and has to jog around in order to come over and turn this switch. That's what keeps us from going out the wrong direction. It takes us back to the landing site. Meanwhile, this one here is used to turn on and off the same track piece. So you can see they're all related to each other. This guy here can be independent of this guy here, so he's in the off position now. We can override that with the minecart when it passes through and go ahead and turn it on and off here. Isn't redstone fun? Alright, I'm going to have to admit to something, and that is this entire project, while important, is currently not very doable. And we'll get to why it's not actually doable in a second, but I want to explain the center cross concept. The reason I stack these blocks up adjacent the spawner is to give myself sort of a feel for the exact layout of the room. You're going to do a 9x9 room. You add 4 blocks to each side of the spawner, and you're now at 9x9. 4 and 4 are obviously 8, but the spawner is the 9th block. And then I use the diorite at the ends here just because I had it in my inventory and it's lighter in color, and it tells me this block needs to be inside the room. The walls need to be built around it. But of course I get caught up trying to build a real old school spawner. Like I was going to do one of the ones with the 4 buckets of water in the corner, pushing towards a 3-slot hole in the center. Very archaic, very old. Didn't need to. Still don't need to do any of this. I'll tell you why in a minute. I mean, I actually used to build these this way, you know, and then I would have water coming out of that door over there, and, you know, I'd block it up so it looked nice, but you'd have one finishing sleeve just to finish the push for that slot. So this room is now oversized, and now it hits me, I need to do this corner stairs, the thing I always do. I put blocks in the corner, and we guide towards the lift chute. We don't have to dig down. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's dumb. So the rest of this is just cleaning this room out. There's a lot of arguments about whether or not you need 9 by 9 or 11 by 11 or 10 by 10. I go 11 by 11. It's easy to build. The wings, as I call them, are just corners filled with blocks, and water runs off of them. You remove the blocks at the last corner the water touches. Bang, bang, bang. Turn that water back off, clear this out. This is the collection zone where the trough and the lift and all of those things will be. Now you'll see the majesty as we slowly drift to our collection zone. This is how it's supposed to be built. Well, guess who's an idiot? In all of my excitement to have an actual spawner and all of the changes to the build and all of the thinking, I never considered that it takes soul sand to make the lift. Okay, so we're back on to go into the nether. We're gonna make the necessary gear that we can, and we're gonna go in. And we're gonna get called soul sand, and we're gonna come right back out. Okay, thank you for watching Not So Daft Gamecraft, the misadventures of the zombie spawner. I have been Ghosted. You've been great.